Eureka Conservative, Charlie Kirk Bible read, and Bob Rant for another day. First time in a couple of weeks I've actually got back-to-back episodes up and going. So got an important update on my Tuesday night Eureka Conservative. We're going to be moving that actually as from this week to a Thursday night. So I won't be on tonight. It'll be on Thursdays now at 8 o'clock. It just fits in better in a better fashion with my work. So anyway, I'll go over that later. Just give you a quick look at our bay as we do every single day. There is Port Phillip Bay, looking beautiful as usual. Well, I shouldn't say as usual, but looking a lot better today, and that's the way it should look in the summer. It's a bit of a warm day, this one. So I won't say un-Melbourne-like, but Melbourne's been Melbourne, absolutely gorgeous out there at the moment. But yesterday it was ridiculous, and earlier in the week we were freezing. So you can't expect more out of Melbourne than that, can you? It's been nuts. So got to introduce my sidekick. There he is, sitting up like a royal majesty that he is. All right, he's been in a very funny mood the last couple of days. Dogs are great, and they can give you a laugh. When I took him out last night for his WALK, I can't say that word, he'll go nuts. I've been caught up with work, as you're all hearing, and he just hadn't been out much. I take him out for a quick WALK, and sometimes I take him out for a long one. Last couple of days I haven't taken him out at all. The best we've done is thrown a ball at the front. But last night when we took him around, he's a very funny dog. He's got this strut, like when he's in a very good mood. And animals and dogs, they have their good days and bad days, just like we do. Most days are good for them, but they do have their bad days. But last night he was hilarious. Like when we were taking him for his long WALK, and this was like at 11:30 at night. I'm one of those night walkers sort of people. Have dinner, watch a bit of TV before you go to bed, go for a walk. So I'm different from all yous who get up in the morning. Not a morning person at all, I'm quite happy to say. Anyway, we took him. He just had this strut going. It was so funny. He was like king of the world. Anyway, probably had to be there to appreciate it. Time for our Bible read. Or Bible extract, I should say. We are up to February 3rd. So I don't have to read 5 verses today, just the one, thank God. Pardon the pun. And then on to the rant. So Isaiah 41. 1, 8 through 13, God's assurance to Israel. The prophet here has a message of hope for God's people in their difficulties. God promises his presence, his strength, and his protection. God says, "Be silent and listen to me, you distant lands. Get ready to present your case in court. You will have your chance to speak. Let us come together to decide who is right. But you, Israel, my servant, you are the people that I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, my friend. I brought you from the ends of the earth. I called you from its farthest corners. And I said to you, you are my servant. I did not reject you, but chose you. Do not be afraid. I am with you. I am your God. Let nothing terrify you. I will make you strong and help you. I will protect you and save you. Those who are angry with you will know the shame of defeat. Those who fight against you will die and will disappear from the earth. I am the Lord your God. I strengthen you and say, do not be afraid. I will help you." Sounds like something the Liberal Party needs at the moment. Segway. There you go. So, it is interesting when you follow all these online discussions, debates, whatever you call them, when it all comes to Israel. God, is there any other country talked more about on this planet than Israel? It's the tiniest country. It's only got, I think 8-9 million people, and yet people are just fascinated with it. We've got enough issues in Australia. I don't know why we're importing their issues, and God bless them. If they can survive over in that shithole end of the world, good luck to them. They have my respect. But, Tucker Carlson was on about it yesterday again. For a man who says he never wants to talk about Israel, my God, he talks about it an awful lot. So I'd rather focus on Australia and our issues here. Just doing some work downstairs and had question time in the background. I got to say, I feel a bit embarrassed by it, but you realise how far the Liberals have fallen if you watch today's question time. It was, and I just have it on the background. Every now and again, you get some good stuff. Most of it's pretty boring. But today it was actually pretty amusing, I've got to say. And sadly for me, I'm finding myself laughing the hardest and the longest at one-liners from the likes of Elbow, Chalmers, and of all people, Andrew Wilkie. And they were just taking the mickey out of the Liberal Party and, to a lesser extent, the Nationals. And here you've got the Nationals locked up in a corner and the Libs trying to be this opposition, which then... and everyone was laying the boots in. It was quite amusing, I got to say. And I hate those people. You know, I'm not a fan of Wilkie, Chalmers or Elbow or any of them, but they took full advantage of all the rubbish going on within the Liberal Party. It was really hilarious. And it actually, it just highlighted the issue we've got and we've had for a long time, that we haven't got an opposition. And we all knew that. But, you know, I'm guilty of this. I'm sure many of you out there following me are guilty of this. We were holding hope out that the Liberals would go back to their roots, would go back to their Menzies and their Howards and the Abbotts types and all that. But those, you know, I've come to terms with it. Those days are over. You've only got to look at the Liberals. It's a clown show. And the only way you change that is by bringing in fresh blood. The only way you get fresh blood is by winning seats in the parliament. They're not going to win any seats. They're going to get annihilated. I just don't see any way back. And a few weeks ago, I was still hopeful they could find a way back. But I don't think a change of leader will do it. They would need a political lobotomy to be able to change things to go their way. The party just can't keep going as it is with moderates and conservatives under the same roof. You just can't. It's like oil and water. They just don't get on. I mean, I said in a tweet earlier today, probably the best thing they could do is just to split. Let all the conservatives go join One Nation. Let all the moderates go join the Teals. That's where they naturally belong. And then let us have the say on what we want. Because so many of us don't want to vote for the Liberal Party because they've got, for example, as a conservative, I don't want to vote for the Liberals because they've got these bloody moderates in there. And I'm sure if you're moderate leaning, you're not going to want to vote for One Nation because they've got the conservatives in there or whatever. So, you know, most moderates will go to the Teals, most conservatives will go to One Nation, and then you got the confused lot in between that still stick by the Liberals or the Nationals or whatever. The Nationals are a bit of a different beast because they are far more conservative than the Liberals. And, you know, I actually think it would be very smart of the Nationals. I mean, this talk about them coming back into a coalition, I don't see a future for them there. I don't see a future for the Liberals there. Again, I said earlier today on X, is the only thing that would be worse than them getting, the only thing worse than the Liberals getting back together, what was it? No, the only thing worse than the LNP splitting would be the Liberals getting back together twice in 12 months. I mean, you split, move on, go your own way. You don't get on, go your own way, forget the coalition until you've both won enough seats that can win government. Until then, it's pointless. You know, so why stay in the coalition? They'd be far better off doing what they did today. But I got to give it, and I don't like the man at all, but Andrew Wilkie was pretty funny. What was his question, Elbow? Something along the lines, considering now that the crossbench has more numbers than the Liberals when you include the Nationals with them, and in anticipation of more defections across to One Nation in the very soon future, how does Anthony Albanese, how do you PM justify having the Liberals as your opposition party and enjoying all the perks that go along with it? It's actually a valid question, but a very fun one. And we are in the bizarre position. This is how far the LNP have fallen. We're in the bizarre position that Elbow's actually speaking out in defence of Susan Ley and the Liberals. I mean, it was funny. It was funny and sad. Elbow had some great lines. Jim Chalmers had some great lines. and I despise the term. But a good line's a good line. You don't have to like the comedy at the comedy club to enjoy his lines. And it was one of the funnier questions. I shouldn't be laughing because it leaves the country in a horrible state. But what's the old saying? If you don't laugh, you'll cry. I think that is very, very appropriate. So I'm hoping and praying, as I've said a few times now, One Nation comes through. It was very interesting. They had Corey Bernardi, the big announcement. There was supposed to be another big announcement, I thought, from James Ashbury. Some think that's a big announcement. I don't. Corey's been there, and I like Corey Bernardi. I was all the way with him with the Australian Conservatives. He's the first one to pull out, but then he pulled the plug, and went in for the media gig. Fair enough, but don't try and convince me you're some sort of conviction politician, because what happens with Corey Bernardi if it doesn't work out with One Nation, And it's not a big announcement because he's standing for the upper house in the South Australian election, so it's got nothing to do with us federally. I mean, I would have thought their big announcement's got to be a federal politician coming across. If it was an Alex Antic announcement for example, that's a big announcement. Okay. If it was Matt Canavan, huge announcement. Even if it was someone like a Michaela Catch, big announcement. But, not Corey Bernardi. And it's the same if they're going to start, if Ashby's going to talk around and all of a sudden he's announcing people like Craig Kelly or Senator Babette, they're not serious. They're just not serious. So I'm hoping he just spoke out of term, which is pretty likely. We'll see. But one big problem that we've had with political parties of all stripes going way, way back is those ones who let the hubris, and talking of hubris, watch the ALP today. I mean, those guys, if they don't think that when One Nation is finished with the LNP that they're not coming for the ALP, they got rocks in their head. But they'll be more ruthless and better organised than the LNP. But still, One Nation will come for them, and people will want them to come for them. People we want an opposition party. The Liberals and Nationals can't provide it. We are all hoping One Nation can. And if they can, we'll get right behind them. I will, and I'm sure plenty of you out there will. So these announcements that Ashby promised us, I hope he hasn't overpromised and will underdeliver. That is my big concern. And I hope they're willing to have conversations with people that are like-minded, that have a long history, that are capable, competent, that they could run a ministry, that they could, for example, be a treasurer, the Minister of Defence, even Prime Minister, whatever it is. They've got to be capable of doing those jobs. Otherwise, they'll be in for one term and gone the next. So we're in a very precarious position as a country, and I just hope and pray that One Nation is up for this task. We will see where it goes, but the start of Parliament wasn't what it was cracked up. What happened to all this, challenge of Susan Lay's leadership? Where's Angus Taylor today? I mean, people are going, he can't do it now. You got to wait for the interest rates. Bugger that. Your party's disintegrating. It's going before our eyes. You don't have time to wait for 2-3 weeks. You need to get laid out. You need to get the Conservatives back in charge of the Liberal Party, and you need a new leader, someone that we can believe in. I'm not even caring, actually. I don't know why I'm talking about that, except that it was funny in Parliament today. But I don't know. It's just we are living in like the twilight zone of politics. It is absolutely bizarre just witnessing it and watching it. Yeah. Tell you what I'll do is I'm going to get because I haven't had a really good chance to look at it. I'll share with Twitter for you a little, let's see what's on X at the moment. I shouldn't keep calling it Twitter. Does everyone else do that? Let's have a look and see what is. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning a bit today. It's been a long day and I need another cup of coffee. So, One Nation's surge in the polls presents a long-term threat to Labor. I agree. with the exodus of coalition voters suggesting a similar Labor exodus is not far behind. Absolutely. And the hubris of all the politicians in Parliament today, the ALP ones, they just don't think it's coming for them. It's the same hubris that the Liberals had. The Liberals never thought this day was coming. They thought they were always going to be a major party. They didn't think Pauline and One Nation had it in them, and it's just hit them. It's just hit them so hard. It's very nice to watch. But anyway, Leo, always a good kid, Leo. James Ashby said to the Saturday paper in December that two well-seasoned politicians would join One Nation this year. Feels now like that might be Cory Bernardi and maybe Adam Giles. No, I like Adam Giles, but again, I don't think it's a big name. Most people wouldn't know who the hell Adam. And when I say a big name, do they have cut through federally? No, Barnaby Joyce was a big name, for example. Cory Bernardi is popular, or he's known in South Australia. I'm not too sure whether he's popular. Daniel Giles is popular in the Northern Territory, but they don't have any cut through in many of the other states. So it's not a big name. It's not a big name federally. So anyway, where have you been? Blind question about the Palestinians. I have been One Nation for 10 plus years. Good on you. Ellie, good girl. Susan Lay, favourability. Favourable 10%. Do they look at these polls? Unfavourable 42%. Never heard of 38%. Neutral unsure 35%. I mean, do the Liberal strategists? I mean, this is all the Liberal Party's good for now as a laugh. Do they even look at those polls? Does anyone in their party headquarters, the strategists and tacticians and their advisors look at these things? And yet they keep sending a conga line of moderates out saying how well she's going. No, she's not. Opinion. Liberal geniuses scheme to topple first female leader as the party irrelevant. Desperately needs to win back women's voters who have abandoned them in droves. So what's that got to do with anything? Troy Branston. You're a dickhead, Troy. Is Usman Tariq's arm there? In Usman Tariq, there is no bending as per the guidelines. He bowls living with the pause. Bullshit. He's pitching baseball throws. I mean, I don't know whether you watched that Pakistani guys. I guarantee you this. If that was an Aussie bowler, there would be all hell to pay. The guy chucks. He stops there and he pitches it like in baseball. For any of you who follow cricket, it's just, you remember Sandpaper Gate? Well, they've got this guy who chucks it and they've got a keeper who broke the bails with one hand while having the ball in the other hand. That's cheating. It's not out. If an Australian did that, there would be uproar. Where's the media? Where's the uproar? They're going to get annihilated in this T20, I think. Hope not, but I think they are. Why isn't Steve Smith over there? What else have we got? Dan's in a bad way. Obviously, the bike boy case is coming up, but apparently Dan's not feeling too well. Anyone sympathetic out there for Dan? Oh, excuse me again, everyone. I should not be yawning. That's very rude. Here we go. So Victoria Labor and Liberal leaders slammed over Pride March. Vote One Nation. 100%. They all went to it. Bugger them. Don't they govern for us all? Anyway, everybody, there's not a lot happening. We'll go into our notifications and see what's going on there. There was a it's a big no. No, it's not. Saint Spyman. Sorry. I mean, just call a spade a spade. Don't be like the ALP. I mean, it's not a big name. And don't give me it's a big name for true conservatives. That's just utter bullshit. If Cory was a true conservative, he would have stuck at it like Pauline did. He didn't. He bolted. And now he's coming back. And sorry, there's a lot of opportunists. I thought Pauline wasn't going to give spots to opportunists. But anyway, that's my opinion. And you don't have to be a conservative or a moderate or even an ALP type to have that opinion. All right, so St. Spitman, how many followers you got, matey? Are you another troll? Yeah, thought as much. It's worse in person. It's worse in person. What? Is someone there? Oh, I did. Patriot Penguin. I love the name. Are you there in Penguin? I'm sorry, in Parliament. My God. The nanny state. I want to get one girl. Here we go. This is what I wanted to look at. Now, this is exactly One Nation is fielding candidates right across the country, and the South Australian election is no different. Strong candidates like Chantel Thomas have stepped forward to represent their communities. The Victorian and New South Wales elections will also see full participation by our party. So I definitely hope that's the case. Now, you might not be able to read this, but I'll give you a quick thing. Kadina, mother of three, Chantel Thomas, is One Nation's candidate for Noongar at the upcoming state election in South Australia. Chantel, 30, is a photographer and makeup artist who's also worked as a counsellor with Lifeline and in marketing, retail and hospitality. I suppose you could say I've worked in a lot of different fields with all sorts of different people, Miss Thomas said. Ultimately, that's what politics is about, people. Well done, Chantel. Really well done. And that is exactly the sort of fresh faces, the new people that we need. Forget the big names and all this. We don't need past. This is my opinion. So before you come roaring back at me. I'll stop sharing that now. My final point for the day. Where am I? Yes, I'm not having a good day. It's been a long week. That Chantel girl, exactly what we need. We need to get, and no, it's got nothing to do with age or her gender or anything like that. We need young Aussie kids, they're a kid to me, sorry, young Aussies who have worked, who've got life experience, who love their country, who buy into the Aussie culture and heritage and way of life and want to change their country for the future. They're the ones One Nation needs. If I was the vetting, they're the ones I'm looking for One Nation. Fresh faces, new people, people with innovation, with ideas, people with the smarts as well to come into it. It's not easy to get them across, but definitely I'd rather have them every day of the week, twice on Sundays, than some old staid politician who, let's be honest, whether they're liberal, everyone out there talks Uniparty. Now, I've been fighting that thing for a while. By the way, the Uniparty's not dead until the ALP is. But, politicians since Turnbull became Prime Minister on both sides of the fence have delivered this country to where it is. And I don't care whether you're a crossbencher, whether you're in the Liberals, Nationals, One Nation is a chance for a fresh change. I just hope they don't make the mistake. And to me, that candidate there, Chantel, is a great candidate. The other guy that was leading the One Nation Party in South Australia, I don't know whether he is now, that Bernard is, he was a migrant who's been here for a long time now, but he runs his own building business and he's trying to change, he's trying to get the South Australian Party going, in a South Australian One Nation Party going, up and running to be a viable force. So fresh faces, fresh ideas, lots of enthusiasm, a lot of innovation, exactly what Pauline needs. Now, there are some definitely targets you should try and attract. I just said two, Matt Canavan. I'd go, the ones I would be looking at right now is Matt Canavan, Alex Antic. I would have a crack at Michaela Cash. She's done a lot of things, and she abstained on that vote. She pushed the vote because she had to, because she's leader of the upper house. But then she abstained from it, which was really interesting. And we haven't heard anything from her since. I'd also be approaching other Conservatives. Jacinta Price, yes. Andrew Hastie, I'd still approach him. He made one mistake in the last 6 months. Don't slaughter the guy for one mistake. We don't know in the background what pressure was put under. Jacinta Price, I would definitely be approaching. Any one of those names, Angus Taylor, I'd be approaching. Angus Taylor would make a great treasurer or even a leader in the House. But there are certainly a number in the Nationals. I just think the Conservatives as a whole have got to come together, and this is their chance through One Nation to do that. And I hope Pauline's not so bitter about a lot of the things from the past that she can't accept those. So there are certain MPs that would bring a lot of credibility to One Nation, definitely target. But, your run-of-the-mill MPs that are going to go for a lot of electoral seats, just like that young girl there. That's exactly what they need, and that'll help turn this country around. But anyway, that's enough from me. I've rattled on enough. Remember, Eureka Conservative podcast is now Thursday nights, 8 o'clock, not Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. So it won't be on tonight, but it will be back on Thursday. Just fits in with my week better. And even though I've got shout me a coffee on all my tweets, I don't get many coffee shouted. So if you're watching these a fair bit and you appreciate it, I would have, it'd be great to get a few coffee shouted my way. I've got to make sure I keep the business running. Got to pay the rent. Got to pay the dog food. Got to pay for my food. So got to keep a roof over the head, as they say. Oh, hello. I might have a comment. Oh, I do. Now, this is exciting. Oh, here we go. You get your trolls all the time. Look at you. What a wanker. I love sharing with wankers. We could better conserve Australia by sending swarthy foreigners like you back where they came from. I'm a foreigner. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Does my accent give mate, send another message through. Come on. Give me something more. Oh, God. I might hang on now for 5 minutes. I was about to sign off, but let's see if this guy's got something to say. I've been in Australia my whole life. My parents were born in Australia. All my uncles, aunties, whatever, born in Australia. I've had brothers and sisters fight for this country. My father fought in New Guinea. That's hilarious. Oh, God. Swarthy foreigners. Oh, God. Can someone tell me what my accent sounds like? Is it not Aussie enough? God, I have a voice only a mother could love. I'll give you that, but I'm still pretty sure it's got an Aussie accent. We could better conserve Australia by sending swarthy foreigners like you back where they came from. So, okay, let me get into all this foreigner stuff. I've dealt with some people like me who are dinky-die Aussies who've gone back. I'm pretty sure, by the way, dinky-die is pretty much Aussie slang, but they go back. I think I can get rid of his until he comes another one in. They go back, further than what my family does. So on my dad's side, they go well back before Federation. Mum's side, they came from Wessex and they immigrated over to New Zealand first, and then they immigrated to Melbourne just before Australia became a federation in South Melbourne. So I think my credentials as a legitimate Aussie, if you want to call it that, is pretty strong. But I know Australians that go further back from that, and they're the furthest thing from being what you would call a legitimate Aussie in my book. But, the old fair go Aussie, it's still a thing. So if people are not prepared to give other people a fair go, and listen, there's limits to that. I am against mass immigration, but I'm not against immigration. If we get the right immigration, I'm comfortable with it. But it shouldn't be overwhelming. What's the word? I'll call them heritage Aussies, okay? So a heritage Aussies is those who've got that Anglo-European background and, their parents either settled here or go far back as the early settlers and the convicts. So people who have a long family tree going back in Australia's history. And if you go back before Federation, I think you're pretty legitimate, all right? But I know people like that, and they don't represent what I was raised to be as an Australian. And what is it to be Australian? Is it actually, to be Australian, is it right to be racist simply because of a different person's background? Now, is it right to be, I don't even know what the word is. Is it right to be, I'm trying to think of this word. You might be able to help me, someone. I'm thinking of people who come to this country that just want to tear it down or cause harm to other people. So is it right to be angry at those and want them gone? Hell no. They go. If they're not here to contribute to this country, they should be gone. But I've come across, in 40 years of work right across Melbourne, literally thousands upon thousands of people of different cultural heritage that are recent immigrants. Some of them might be only here one generation or two generations and have fled places like China and fled places like Vietnam. And they're as Aussie as you and I. They might look different, but they have the same culture, the same faith. I think I shared a story the other day of a young guy from a family. They fled China. And we're doing a basketball tournament. One of the things I do when I coach is I've stolen it from the Yanks, is a lot of the American coaches will say a prayer before their kids train or play. Now, with them, they get because they're evangelistic Christians over there, they would get the whole team and parents and everybody into that prayer. For me, it's just me. And I've made my parents aware of that. And I just say a little basketball prayer, keep the kids safe. I say the Lord's Prayer first. And normally I'm just in a corner saying it silently, just keeping to myself. But I was getting a few strange looks. So I made all my parents aware of what I was doing. So I said, if anyone wants to join in, they're more than welcome. But I just thought you'd better let you know you're doing it. So no one took that up. And now Christianity plays a big role in our heritage. Catholicism plays a big role in our heritage. Just as being an Anglican played a big role, They were the foundations. And I'm not 100% on this Judeo-Christian thing. And I'm a good friend of the Jewish community. But, sorry, it was Christianity that built this country. And I'm more than happy for the Jewish community to be a part of our country and contribute to it and all that. You'll never find me arguing against them. But it wasn't the Jewish community that built this country. There was a lot of people that played an important role that had Jewish culture, Jewish faith, but they didn't build the country. It was a Christian country built. But anyway, I digress. So my mate's made me go a bit longer with this rant, hasn't he? So anyway, I was in there. I wrote out an email to all my parents and said, listen, this is what I'm doing. If you want to join in, you can. Now, in my basketball club, program, whatever you want to call it, the good old Warriors, I have a vast variety of different cultures. I've got Aussie kids, I've got Asian kids, I've got Indonesian kids who are Asian, Sri Lankan kids, I've got a kid with German parents and grandparents, So I've literally got the lot. I've got a Serbian girl who's just started with us. I've got a whole bunch of different kids with different backgrounds. And, not everyone, when I put it out, and I just put this email out to all those parents and say, listen, this is what I do before a game. I actually carry the rosary with me to a game as well. Just, I suppose you can call it a religious good luck charm, but I feel comfortable with that there as a Catholic. And out of all the families that said, I didn't expect any, but one family got in contact with me and said, listen, our son would like to join you with that prayer before the game. I was taken aback a bit. And, this boy's only 12. And I said, are you sure? They said, yeah. So we got in before the game. And, yes, he's an immigrant. And his parents have come here for the right reasons to come to Australia. Lovely family. But he does all his religious stuff through the Chinese faith-based Catholic Church. So the poor kid only knows the Lord's Prayer in Chinese. Could we get to him? I'm in a corner, and I said, well, he goes, mate, I said, you ready for the prayer? He goes, yeah, no, that'd be great, Bob. So we've got there before the game, and I said, mate, this is what I do. And I got my rosary out. I said, I hold the rosary, I say the Lord's Prayer, and then I do a little basketball prayer. And he goes, oh, that's all right, but there's one problem. And I said, yeah, what's that? And he goes, I don't know the Lord's Prayer in English. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, oh, we only get taught it in Chinese. And I go, oh, okay. I said, well, listen, I'll say it in English and you just sit there and listen in and, maybe at some stage we'll teach it in English because you can speak English. He's like very fluent. I said, we'll have to teach you it in English at one stage, which his parents were all fine for. So anyway, so I said the prayer and on we went. So, and this is a beaut kid. He's got a lovely sister. They're just normal kids. For God's sakes, we're human beings. And we're all children of Christ, in my belief. So if you want to be like that wanker, and I'll show you again, if you ever get him, there he is. Conserve Australia by sending swarthy foreigners. Oh, you're such a humanitarian. And listen, these guys always make me laugh. I am against mass immigration. I don't think it's healthy for the same reasons that Marco Rubio says it's unhealthy. But, you know, we've got to allow people into our country that will help us build this country. So, and I'm pretty keen on that, as everyone will be one day, because when you get to my age and you're getting later on in life, you're going to be at a point where, you know, you're going to need the younger ones in this country building it so you can survive as an older person. Especially, you know, when you're getting into 89, don't know whether I'll ever make it that far. But if I do, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need some help. So I'm not a swarthy foreigner. I don't even know what you mean by a swarthy foreigner. But if it's typical of the people that I've dealt with, then you're an arsehole. So anyway, that's just me. So ranted on a bit longer than I was planning to. Thank you. Don't even know your name. Don't even know whether you're still watching. Hasn't got back on, but we'll see. So anyway, remember, Eureka Conservative on Thursdays, 8 o'clock. Just want to say God bless you to you. God bless to your kids. God bless to your grandkids. God bless to your pets. Can't you show you mine? He's right at my feet, or maybe I can. No, can't get it quite that far. So he's not on his couch. He's right next to me. He's giving me a message, Dad, finish up. So I will, and I will see you tomorrow, probably a little bit earlier than usual because I've got to get going by 3. So, yeah. See you, everyone. Good to chat. I'll chat again tomorrow with another rant and another daily Charlie Kirk Bible read. There he is. He's going up on his couch. Just for you guys. He's saying goodbye. See you, everyone. Bye.